All right, Bitcoin is pulling back, but don't panic. I'm going to show you the levels to watch this week for your trades. We're going to do live technical analysis, price predictions, and trading. This is Crypto Rolly, the crypto watch that never stops. And this is not financial advice. Do your own research, trade at your own risk. All right, welcome back, guys. Hit that like, comment, subscribe. I just hit over 50 subscribers yesterday. Thank you, everyone, for sharing and liking. Also, if we get to 100 subscribers, I'm going to start doing actual live streams, so I'm excited for that to come. Let's jump into the market, okay? So, Bitcoin. Volume's been super low past few days, 867 million. That's pretty much nothing. We want to see over a billion at least. We're seeing a slight pullback. XRP is actually up today, 5%. Stellar up 4%. Sometimes when XRP moves, XLM, Stellar moves with it. They're often compared. You know how Ethereum is compared to, let's say, Cardano, or Neo is the Chinese Ethereum. Well, Stellar and XRP are much alike in many ways. So they're getting a little bit of a push. Most likely a little bit of a hype. XRP USD is going to be added to BitMEX, I believe, later today. So maybe a little hype before that, and then maybe a dump when it opens. You never know. All right, so the crypto fear and greed index has pulled back as well, down to a 56, still in a neutral zone. And the halving is in 97 days, okay? So real quick, while my VPVR is up, I wanted to show this. You can see the point of control coming in around 9,300. Basically, that was acting as support here. We had a lot of trading here, so we were talking about this in many videos, that we would find resistance in this area. And currently we are trading beneath it. Your next level of interest, see these spikes? They're showing where all the trading is coming in. Your next area is down here at 8,600, okay? And if we do manage to break back above, your next level is 10,100, which also lined up with a potential bull flag that we drew in yesterday's video. If you draw this pull up, flag, pull up, you're going to land somewhere in this region. Also, we had the Fibonacci retracement from this top to this bottom. Your 0.5 fib was also lining up with 10,100. So guys, if this was just a minor pullback and we see a bounce, I would be looking for that as the first target, okay? Otherwise, today we might be focused a little bit more on the pullback side, and I don't want anybody to be panicking, because on the macro level, we are definitely looking bullish still. We're still well above the daily 200 simple moving average. There's many other bullish indicators on the macro. Pullbacks are natural, and if you look from this bottom to this top, that's about a 44% gain, 45% gain that we've seen on this rally. So we're not just going to keep going up and up and up and never stop. We will get that pullback, okay? So this is natural, and for the time being, still macro bullish. So let's go on over to our normal indicators. Let's see, we can start on the 4-day and move our way, or sorry, the 4-hour and move our way back up, okay? Since people are probably wanting to know what to do right now. Okay, so we were talking about this the past 2 days very extensively. We were in a sideways range, and we had a horizontal support, which I had green before. Now I have turned it to red because now it will act as resistance. So support, breakout, retest as resistance. This is classic in Bitcoin. If you've been watching my videos, in every video I talk about a support flipped resistance, okay? And currently that's what we are looking at. So we broke below, and we came back above to test it again, and currently acting as resistance. If we are able to maintain or close a 4-hour candle back above 92.50, I think that's pretty bullish. This could have just been a temporary breakdown, maybe even a fake out, so to say. If we can get back above here, I think that will be good for the bulls, and maybe we make that attempt up again. But for the time being, I have to treat this as a hard resistance, especially since it was such a nice support here, okay? So now that it finally broke down, we're going to have to beat this level until we can start, and if we beat that, we can start talking about that. So what are we looking at for pullbacks? We can draw a Fibonacci retracement. We'll pick this swing low to this swing high. We'll just pick this one for today. And we did hit the 0.382 on that move down. Say we get rejected here and we continue down. 0.5 fib from this low to this high is coming in at 8,900. Well, 8,900 would also line up with about the daily 200 simple, which we will get there when we get to the daily time frame. Your golden retracement on this swing low to this swing high, the 0.618 is coming in at 8750, which would also be lining up with the top of this trading area here, so that could be potential new support. All right. On top of that, though, we have to look at the CMEs real quick. So we had a gap here, and this CME gap did get filled officially this morning. We do have a mini gap down here. I don't know that it's such a large gap that we need to talk too much about it, but I am going to keep it on my chart. And if we do come to fill this area here, 85.50 on CME, let's see where that lines up with spot. I think that would line up somewhere in this region here. So that would be your 0.786 retracement all the way down here. And guys, if you zoom out, let's even just zoom out to a daily. If we came back down to this region here, I'll even draw something. Say we came down here and we found a bounce and then we made another attempt up. This wouldn't look bad at all, okay? This looks even healthy, okay? So this isn't a terrible area to pull back from. I'm not saying this is the formation that's going to happen. I'm just saying if you zoom out after a 45% run up, this is not bad at all. So don't panic if you're like a long-term hodler. Now, if we start breaking below some key levels, then you might want to start, selling or thinking about 6K and so forth. But let's play it level by level. Currently at 91.50. Okay, we'll go back to the 4 hour and do the usual breakdown. So we talked about the Fibonacci on this move here. Okay, so closing out my drawing tools, throw on the moving averages. So we broke below the 50 EMA on the 4 hour, and we are having trouble closing back above it. We still have about an hour left in this 4 hour candle, so we did break below it, kind of retested it, tried to break above again and getting rejected. This is coming in at 91.88. So if we are rejected here again and close beneath, which it's starting to look like, your next support area is going to be this 100 EMA on the 4 hour at 89.63. So if you're using the 4 hour chart to trade, this would be your next level of support. And you do have the 10 simple crossing bearish beneath the yellow 21 EMA, coming down, adding some pressure to the downside. 10 simple is at 92.50, and we all know 92.50 is going to be a level to beat, okay? And just one thing before I keep moving on. Had you watched my videos all the way through, you would have known that I prepared for both sides. So just because I had a title talking about 11,000 doesn't mean that it was 11,000 or bust, okay? Sometimes I'm just going to use the clickbait title because we all know that I get more views and more subscribers the more bullish I am, okay? And I know this is no secret. So yeah, sometimes I might give you a nice upside target, but had you watched the video, I talked about this level, and if we broke this level, what my next move would be, okay? So watch all these videos all the way through. Be prepared for both sides. I trade up, I trade down, okay? I'm not a bull, I'm not a bear, I'm a trader. Moving on. Let's go to the Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands, we are in the bearish zone, and we're pushing down on this bottom Bollinger Band here. Your middle BB is coming in at 93.10. That would be your resistance on the Bollinger Bands. And let me close out the VPVR and throw back the Ichimoku clouds. Ichimoku. Hope everyone's having a good start to their week. Okay, so you do have the green cloud support coming up here. It's coming in right now at 9,000. 9,021, and will move its way up to 9,050. So on the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud, we could look to find some support right in this area. We might get a bounce off the cloud, okay? We'll definitely find a temporary support. If we don't get a hard bounce, we'll probably get a short-term bounce, okay? And then if we break into the cloud, you're looking at this as your support. Our stochastics are getting low. They haven't crossed up yet. They're kind of gliding. So possibly, you know, if we get down here and find a bounce, you'll see your stochastic cross up, which could be a nice signal. We saw, you know, this was a short-term bounce from the bottom, and you had a little bit of a rally and then got rejected from this blue conversion line. And then when we crossed again here, you had that run up, okay? So not every cross is going to be the best signal, but oftentimes they are good for a bit of a rally, that's for sure. And my RSI, is my RSI also missing? Where did the RSI go? Okay, so we got our RSI. This RSI has just been a straight downward channel, which I think eventually when we get a bounce, we'll just break out of it. Much like a, you know, like a falling wedge or a falling channel, you know, these tend to break bullish. So will we break bullish very soon, or maybe we come all the way down to the oversold region before we get that bounce, okay? So 4 hours is the lowest time frame that I look at, but it's definitely a solid one to get you into a trade, okay? So watch out for these guys here. Moving on to the 12-hour. The 12-hour Stoke has turned down a bit more aggressively, and had you traded these blindly, you would have had your top called in. You might, had you had a very close stop right here, you probably got stopped out. Had you had a looser stop, this would have called the top perfectly. We're coasting down, so looking for a cross up on the 12-hour as another type of bullish confirmation. Your blue conversion line coming in at 89.45 support. And we did see lots of bearish divergence on the 12-hour, which was also hinting at a top, okay? But the trend is our friend. So if we were holding on to the 92.50 support in the previous days, you know, I couldn't be too bearish until that broke. And now that that broke, I had to readjust my short-term bias, okay? But I'm always ready to flip my bias if the price action changes on me. Let's move on to the Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands meeting the middle BB right now. It did hold us up as support on the previous candle, and we are trading beneath the middle BB on the 12-hour. So if this 12-hour closes in about 5 hours beneath the middle BB, that could also be another bearish signal. And your bottom BB support is all the way down here at 86.10. 86.10, that's lining up with that VPVR support that we spoke about at the very beginning. So we're going to have to see where this 12-hour candle closes. Do we close back above the BB and get a nice bounce, or do we close beneath it and get a drop? Right now we're just right at the middle. The middle resistance, 91.78, is the level to beat. Throwing on the moving averages. Yellow 21 EMA holding us up as support. 10 simple coming down, adding pressure. Kind of looks a little similar to this move here, where once we finally broke the 10 simple, the 21 was acting support. Then we got squeezed here and then broke down and found support on the orange 50 EMA. So if the same thing happens, we could find a short-term range with between the yellow 21 and the 10 simple, and then squeeze down to the 50 EMA, currently at 87.70. Going to the daily. On the daily, we're also going to want to see if this daily closes also in 5 hours. If we close beneath the 10 simple, the 10 simple is at 92.16. Get a close beneath that. Most likely going to test this yellow 21 EMA coming around 88.86, same region as our pink 200 simple moving average on the daily at 88.67. So these guys are pretty much neck and neck. Actually, yesterday the yellow 21 was above. Okay, still above. We're still slightly above. The numbers were pretty close, throwing me for a loop. Okay, so the yellow 21 is still above the pink 200 simple for the time being, but this would be the next area of support on the daily moving averages. On the Bollinger Bands, your middle support, probably same area, it's going to be 89.24. And you can see we were rejected from the top band here, but still in the bullish zone on the daily. So as long as we're maintaining in the bullish zone on the daily Bollinger Bands, also no reason to panic. Now we start breaking this, it could get a little uglier, okay? Ichimoku, your support is down here at 89.13. We also spoke about in previous videos when we get too far extended away from our supports that they often act as magnets, and that is what is currently happening now. But we do have this green cloud forming here, which is also looking good for a bull case, okay? That is that as far as those. We do have the Stoke cross down, so also makes me hesitant about a short-term pump. So we could have a little bit more of a pullback looking at our daily Stoke cross down. And the RSI has looked like it's topping out. Not complete bearish divergence because these are about equal in height, about hit a horizontal, but we didn't get a higher. So we got a higher high on the chart, but we didn't get a higher high on the RSI. Kind of topped out at the same level. So it's not complete bearish divergence, but it kind of is. And also, let's look at this real quick. You have a trend line on the RSI on the daily looking like this. Something like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. But you can see basically how you had low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Now if this breaks, that's going to start looking bearish as well. If we break below this guy even, you might see the RSI come all the way back down to this region. If that happens, the pullback might be a bit more severe, okay? So just watch out for that. And I believe that's that on the daily. Let's go to the weekly. The weekly, your RSI or your stochastics are still coming up, looking healthy on the weekly stochastic and still trading within the Ichimoku cloud. So nothing too big, just your support's going to be at 86.83, 8600, top of the video. We spoke about the VPVR support, and your resistance is going to be here at 10,370. Going to the Bollinger Bands. We did hit the top resistance on the Bollinger Bands, and your middle BB is coming in at 81.94. So want to maintain this bullish zone on the Bollinger Bands. Our moving averages still above the 21 EMA. As long as we hold above the 21 EMA on the weekly, we can talk about a bull market. You can see how we stayed above it from 2015 to 2017. We are nice and above it in this rally here. And if we can maintain it, we can maintain our bull market narrative. However, you start breaking below, then we're going to start talking about the 200 EMA down here at 57.38, but one step at a time, okay? And right now, this doesn't look too bad, okay? And you do have the 10 simple, I believe, crossing above the 50 EMA, this orange 50 EMA. So it's good to see this guy crossing above that. The next move you'll want to see is the blue 10 simple cross above the yellow 21 EMA. All right, so I think I've done all of my usual indicators, and we'll wrap it up with the Heikin Ashi. hit that like, hit the subscribe, leave a comment if you want to see me discuss anything in future videos. I don't believe I'll be able to do a video tomorrow. I have some family in town. We're going to actually have a little bit of a day trip tomorrow, so I'll be gone. I've got my trade set up. Nothing huge, just a small short, basically with the bias that 92.50 has now flipped as resistance. If we break above it, then, well, good for the bulls. And if we continue down, well, I'll just probably trail my stop downwards. Not getting too over aggressive at the moment, personally. So let's look at the Heikin Ashi. On the weekly, we are still bullish on the weekly. That's why I said, we are seeing a short-term pullback, but on the macro, don't panic. On the 3-day, our Heikin Ashi is still putting in green bullish Heikin Ashi candles. On the 2-day, you are seeing the first red one print, which could be indicative of a pullback, all right? But as long as we maintain above 8,900, 8,600, I'm not too worried. Now you start closing beneath the daily 200 simple at 8,900. You start closing beneath 8,600 where we showed there was a lot of support there. These are going to start printing a few reds here. And, technically we still are looking at a lower high. High, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. So you start breaking beneath around here, this might become a new target. But we're not at that point yet. On the daily also printing a red bearish candle. On the 12-hour, you have a few of them. And on the 4-hour, I'm sure it's also looking bearish. Okay? So, pullbacks happen. Be aware. I showed you the levels to be aware of, and you can trade from those levels. I am not a crystal ball reader. I do not have a magic 8-ball. I'm just an analyst, and I use these technicals to give me an edge, okay? And that's what we do as traders. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in a day or two, and stay safe out there trading.